Welcome, learners. In a world just absolutely brimming with information, it's pretty easy to feel overwhelmed, isn't it? We're constantly bombarded. And the real challenge becomes, well, how do we cut through all that noise? How do we find those insights that are truly deep, resonant? The ones that don't just inform us, but genuinely empower us. Well, today we're embarking on something truly unique, a really different kind of deep dive. Instead of just one topic, we're plunging into the remarkably diverse literary universe of a single author. Shawn Armstrong. Our mission today is to unpack the core nuggets of knowledge, maybe find some surprising connections across his really wide-ranging body of works. Think of it maybe as a masterclass in multidisciplinary thinking. I mean, from the foundational ideals of American democracy and the complex, often turbulent history of global conflicts, all the way to the intensely practical stuff like personal self-defense. And then he even gets into explorations of the supernatural, which is quite a leap. Shawn Armstrong really invites us to engage with crucial topics that shape our world and, our individual lives in pretty profound ways. So whether you're curious about political theory, maybe global economics, or even just how to navigate the challenges of personal safety, identity too, in this crowded world. Well, this deep dive, it offers you a unique shortcut perhaps to understanding the critical insights woven through his extensive writings. So let's unpack the author himself first, Shawn Armstrong. He isn't just described as a writer, not in the traditional sense anyway. He's called, and I think this is pretty apt, a distinguished self-defense author whose multifaceted writing spans the realms of history, politics, and philosophy. That's quite an intellectual range, isn't it? I mean, it immediately makes you ask, what kind of background leads someone to cover all that?
Yeah, it's a great question. And what's truly fascinating here, I think, is how his background really does inform and enrich that incredible breadth. He holds degrees, formal ones, in criminal justice and homeland security. So that certainly grounds his understanding of security, of justice systems. You can see that foundation. But critically, and the sources really emphasize this, it's his lifetime of travel and real-world experience that truly brings his narratives to life. It breathes life into them. This isn't just, academic theory being rehashed on the page. It feels like knowledge forged in the crucible of understanding the complexities of human behavior during tumultuous times. It's like practical application informing deep thought and maybe vice versa too.
That makes sense. The theory and the practice feeding each other.
Exactly, and this leads us right into his guiding philosophy, because there really is a through line connecting all these seemingly disparate works. His unwavering commitment, it's stated as being to educate and empower individuals through knowledge. That feels like more than just a tagline. It seems to be a consistent thread woven into the fabric of every single subject he tackles, from those detailed guides on personal security we mentioned to complex philosophical reflections. His writing consistently aims not only to inform, but also to inspire action and critical thinking among his readers.
Action and critical thinking, so not just passive reading.
Precisely. It suggests his works are designed to be, well, truly transformative, encouraging active engagement with the material, urging you, the listener, to think, to question, to apply, rather than simply passively consuming the information. And it's also quite notable, maybe even surprising given some of his more tactical subjects, that the sources specifically highlight his particular admiration for the works of C.S. Lewis.
C.S. Lewis. Okay, that does seem like a curveball next to self-defense and homeland security.
Right. It immediately signals a perhaps unexpected philosophical depth, a focus on themes like faith, doubt, moral clarity, things that might make you pause and think, how does that connect? How does a self-defense expert connect with, well, a Christian apologist and fantasist? It seems to be through this lens of intellectual curiosity, this pursuit of fundamental truths, maybe. He's framed, the sources say, as a prolific author whose expertise transcends traditional boundaries. And that really sets the stage for what we're about to dive into today. We're looking at seemingly disparate topics that he seems to connect through this core philosophy, empowerment through knowledge. And just to underscore his dedication, his current endeavors apparently involve ongoing research into historical themes, alongside actively promoting self-defense awareness through workshops, seminars, things like that.
Wow. So he's living that dual commitment, the intellectual and the practical.
It really seems so. Reinforces that commitment to both intellectual rigor and practical empowerment.
That is a powerful and pretty unique blend, isn't it? The academic alongside the deeply practical. So how does this multifaceted perspective, this commitment to empowering through knowledge, how does that translate into specific areas of inquiry? Let's start with what appears to be maybe a cornerstone of his political thought, the very foundations of American society. He seems to grapple with some really fundamental questions in his book, Reclaiming Our Ideals.
Yes. Reclaiming Our Ideals. It rigorously analyzes the principles that shape the American nation. But like you said, it goes far beyond just a simple historical recounting. It promises a deep exploration of the American foundation and its controversies. And it specifically mentions tackling challenging themes like slavery and that famous embate entre Hamilton and Jefferson, the clash between Hamilton and Jefferson.
And these aren't just historical footnotes for Armstrong, are they? He connects them to now.
Absolutely. That seems to be the key. What he does in Reclaiming Our Ideals is, I think, particularly insightful from that perspective. He doesn't just list principles. He challenges you, the reader, to consider how our modern understanding of rights has, well, in his view anyway, become dangerously decoupled from the equally vital concept of duties.
Rights versus duties.
Oh, yeah. He argues that this imbalance threatens the very foundations of American society. You'll find him exploring core concepts like natural law, the inalienable rights of each human being. But then he immediately shifts to this crucial discussion on consent, civil rights, and this interdependence between rights and duties.
Interdependence. So you can't have one without the other.
That seems to be his point. And the contemporary relevance is made pretty snark. The book argues that contemporary politics faces unprecedented challenges that place individual rights at risk. And because of that, it advocates for a return to a solid moral structure based on virtue. He analyzes social roles, private property, essential economic principles. It's quite comprehensive.
So it's really a call to action, in a way.
It feels like it. A call for citizens to reflect deeply on the relevance of these founding ideals today, urging them, as the source puts it, not to stay on the sidelines of this vital debate. It asks you to reconsider what truly defines a virtuous and functioning republic.
Okay, so if Reclaiming Our Ideals focuses on that crucial balance, that rights and duties dynamic, how does he then delve into the structure, the actual mechanics of American governance? Building on that foundation, his work, Content of the Governed, takes us right into the Federalist Papers, doesn't it?
It's a very natural progression, really. Consent of the Governed is presented as an authoritative collection of essays, and it explores the very principles laid out by Hamilton, Madison, and Jay in the Federalist Papers. What's truly fascinating here, according to the description, is how Armstrong uncovers the timeless resonance of their insights. He apparently shows how they resonate powerfully with contemporary governance. He aims to help you, the listener, grasp the delicate balance between individual rights and collective authority that defines our democracy and what that means for our modern society. It's not just history, it's supposed to illuminate the present.
And who is this book for? Just academics?
No, apparently not just for scholars. It's presented as a vital resource for anyone passionate about shaping a brighter democratic future. It aims to, quote, revitalize your perspective on freedom and prompt you to rediscover informed citizenship. He's essentially saying it seems if you want to understand why America works the way it does, or maybe sometimes struggles, you have to go back to the original blueprints. You have to see how those foundational debates, those arguments, still echo today.
Right. It gives you a much richer context for understanding current political discourse, I imagine.
That seems to be the goal.
Okay, so that's a clear trajectory. Foundational principles, then the blueprint of governance. But of course, no society is static. Things change. Challenges arise. And Armstrong then turns his attention to the pressing, often uncomfortable, contemporary challenges facing the Republic. He really takes, as the source says, an authoritative stance on pressing issues in dismantling the Republic. That title alone is quite something. What kind of specific challenges does he tackle in this one?
He covers a pretty wide gamut of what he apparently sees as, well, existential threats to the American system. The book explores the evolution of citizenship, tracing its journey, from monarchies to contemporary challenges. He looks at how the very definition of a citizen has shifted over time. He also investigates factors behind what he calls middle-class decline, identifying it as a hidden crisis that might be quietly eroding societal stability.
A hidden crisis. That's strong language.
It is. And then he delves into the complex and often divisive topic of the impacts of globalization and immigration. He poses a critical question directly in the description. Who truly gains from shifting borders? He clearly wants you to think beyond the headlines, consider the deeper implications.
And what about how society organizes itself now? Especially around identity. Does he get into that?
He does. He reportedly decodes what he calls tribal politics, and he prompts readers to ask whether identity politics are steering us away from achieving the American dream. That's a challenging question, isn't it?
It really is. And he also grapples with a fundamental question many people are asking today. Whether our Constitution is becoming obsolete, especially given progressive ideologies that, in his view, challenge its original principles.
Indeed, and the book's concluding section is described as particularly provocative. It urges critical thought about globalist agendas and poses the question, are they eroding your civic rights?
Okay, and again, we need to be clear here.
Right, absolutely. It's really important for us to stress, as we always do, that when the source material highlights a question like, are they eroding your civic rights? That is the book's stated content for analysis. It's prompting the reader to think critically. It is not an endorsement of that specific viewpoint by us as hosts.
Exactly. We're exploring the ideas presented in his work.
Precisely. The author's stated goal here is to equip readers with profound insights necessary for navigating today's complex social landscape, inviting you to question unaccountable influences that might be altering governance dynamics. He aims to make you an active participant in understanding these shifts, not just a passive observer.
Okay. So from that broad examination of contemporary challenges, Armstrong then moves into what sounds like a more direct, maybe even polemical, examination of specific ideologies and their historical shifts. This seems evident in the American left, from liberalism to despotism. The description calls it an authoritative examination of how leftist ideologies have transformed throughout history. How does he approach dissecting this complex evolution? What's his method?
Well, according to the sources, he really digs into the philosophical roots. He uncovers insights on the philosophical foundations laid by influential thinkers like John Dewey. He helps you explore how monumental events, things like the New Deal, World War II, brought about pivotal shifts in ideology, fundamentally reshaping what leftist even meant in America at different times. So he doesn't just chronicle events, he analyzes how ideas took hold, how they morphed and changed over time.
And does he bring it up to the present day?
Oh, yes. He doesn't stop there. He also examines the emergence of radical perspectives that shaped civil rights, feminism, and identity politics. And as he charts how these more radical ideologies, at least in his interpretation, have permeated institutions, the book challenges readers to reflect on vital questions concerning freedom, justice, and the trajectory of political discourse in America. It's designed, as the source states, to, quote, reshape your understanding of American leftist thought, compelling you to ask tough questions about the past in order to understand the present.
Okay, and building directly on that, it sounds like, and deeply connected, is the history of American civil rights and the leftists' hijacking of the nobility of the fight for civil rights.
Wow, that title alone signals a very specific and strong perspective, doesn't it?
It certainly does. It sets a clear tone.
It's described as a comprehensive work aiming to reveal vital truths about our nation's journey toward equality. What kind of truths, according to the description, does he aim to uncover here?
Well, it seems to be a deep dive into the historical narrative of civil rights, but aiming to offer what he considers a more nuanced, perhaps alternative, perspective. In it, you'll apparently find key discoveries like the essence of natural rights as envisioned by the Founding Fathers. That's a recurring theme. Alongside that, a critical view on slavery's moral implications. He delves into transformative milestones, including the Civil Rights Act, the 14th Amendment, examining not just their passage, but their original intent versus perhaps modern interpretation.
Okay, so intent versus interpretation, that's a key distinction. And what's particularly insightful, or at least presented as such, and maybe crucial for understanding current debates, is its presentation of contrasting educational philosophies from Titans Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois.
Ah, that classic debate. How does he use it?
Well, this isn't just academic history for him, it seems. He uses these contrasting viewpoints to help you gain clarity on how yesterday's battles inform today's identity politics. It's about uncovering, in his view, powerful insights to understand America's journey toward equality, but through a very particular interpretive lens, one that definitely challenges some conventional narratives.
So he wants you to see the roots of today's discussions in those historical debates.
That appears to be the objective, yes.
All right. So, from those sweeping historical and ideological analyses, Armstrong then brings his critical lens right up to the present, or very recent past, focusing on a highly polarizing era in American politics. We're talking about from jobs to justice, the Trump era examined, described as a comprehensive analysis of one of the most controversial administrations. What kind of policy deep dives does he offer here? Does he get specific?
Oh, very specific, according to the description. He really meticulously analyzes significant policy decisions, apparently trying to move beyond the political rhetoric to examine the actual outcomes as he sees them. He'll dive deep into what he identifies as trade triumphs, exploring victories in international disputes, unwavering support for American farmers, things like that. He looks at the energy revolution, detailing deregulation efforts that he argues propelled the U.S. to the forefront of global oil production.
Okay, trade, energy. What about foreign policy and defense?
Yep, covers those too. He examines bold foreign policy moves, like the controversial relocation of the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, those unprecedented engagements with North Korea. Defense enhancements are explored, highlighting what he considers transformative changes in military funding and cyber strategies that, in his view, fortified national security.
And veterans.
And finally, yes, he covers veterans care reform, discussing crucial reforms that he believes significantly improve services for those who served the nation.
Now, this book must have generated some strong reactions.
You can imagine. And here, it's particularly important to note, the source material itself, the description of the book, explicitly includes a highly skeptical quote attributed to critics on the American left. It states, "Ridiculous fiction, complete nonsense from a magachode gone wild."
Wow, okay, so the source acknowledges the criticism directly.
Yes. And again, we have to be crystal clear. This is presented in the source material as an example of the book's reported reception. It is not an opinion from us, the hosts. It simply serves to illustrate the polarizing nature of the subject matter covered within the book.
And Armstrong's willingness to engage with highly contentious political figures and eras.
Exactly. His goal here, for you, the listener, seems to be providing an authoritative examination from his perspective of a defining and certainly hotly debated era in American history.
Okay, so we've covered the core internal mechanisms of American society, its historical shifts, contemporary challenges, even a recent presidency. But Armstrong's analytical gaze, as you said, isn't confined to domestic borders. How does he see the U.S. role on the world stage? The Evolution of American Foreign Policy offers a comprehensive look at how historical events and key doctrines shaped the U.S. global role. What's the journey he traces?
It traces a really important evolutionary journey, doesn't it? From America's early, often emphasized isolationism to its eventual deep, complex global engagement. Key insights reportedly include the foundational goals of U.S. foreign policy right from the founding era, exploring why the early leaders pursued certain alliances and, perhaps more famously, avoided others. He also provides crucial insights into national sovereignty and its impact on foreign affairs, a concept that's, well, constantly debated today, isn't it?
Absolutely. Sovereignty is always a hot topic.
And then he dives into an analysis of pivotal moments, things like the Monroe Doctrine, which essentially declared the Western Hemisphere off limits to further European colonization, and then the seismic shift of World War II, showing how these events fundamentally redefined America's place in the world. The book then explores how America's past continues to influence its present regarding things like interventionism, terrorism, and global responsibilities under modern leadership. It aims to equip you with a deeper understanding of how historical choices inform current debates.
So you see the long arc, the connections.
Exactly. He wants you to see that foreign policy is rarely about isolated decisions. It's a long, interconnected narrative shaped by history. It's really clear Armstrong has a profound grasp on American history, doesn't he? But what's truly remarkable, I think, is how seamlessly he seems to expand that critical lens beyond U.S. borders. He dives deep into global ideologies, global conflicts, and this raises that important question. If we connect this to the bigger picture, how does he dissect systems that have shaped millions, even billions of lives worldwide? Let's explore how he takes us from those American foundations onto the worldwide stage.
Where does he start with that global view, ideology?
He seems to begin with the big ideological showdowns. The blood-stained banner, for instance. It apparently aims to courageously expose unsettling truths behind socialism and communism, trying to transcend what he might see as popular, perhaps naive narratives. What you'll uncover here, according to the description, is a rigorous examination of the allure versus reality of Scandinavian socialism, meticulously examining how perception, maybe, often masks the underlying economic and social realities of those systems, challenging the romanticized views some might hold.
Okay, so questioning the Scandinavian model, what about communism?
He then takes what's described as a harrowing look at what has transpired under various communist regimes worldwide, detailing the immense human cost across nations from the Soviet Union to China, Cambodia, Cuba, and beyond. It's presented as a sobering reminder of the practical consequences when these theories are put into practice. And perhaps most critically, he provides an impact analysis, socialism versus capitalism. This is described as a detailed exploration revealing how these systems foster or perhaps stifle innovation and individual liberty.
So a direct comparison.
A direct comparison. This book is positioned as indispensable for anyone looking to navigate today's ideological battleground with informed clarity, challenging conventional ideas that, in his view, have long dominated political discourse. It's clearly designed to make you think deeply about the real-world outcomes of political theories.
Okay. And building on that, providing maybe an even deeper dive into the theoretical underpinnings, is the intellectual journey. Your guide to understanding Marxism, communism, and socialism. This sounds less like a polemic and more like an explainer.
That's the impression, yes. It's described as an enlightening exploration of these incredibly complex thoughts that have undeniably shaped so much of modern history. Not just a dry textbook, though. It delves into historical contexts, helping you understand how Karl Marx's revolutionary ideas really did set off class struggles during the Industrial Revolution, along with his incisive observations about the prevailing economic system, which was, of course, capitalism.
But it doesn't just stop with Marx, right? It looks at leaders, too.
Correct. The book also offers leadership analysis, detailing how figures like Lenin and Stalin transformed political landscapes, often with tragic outcomes. It specifically mentions the devastating impact of the Gulag on Soviet identity and society. He also broadens the scope even further with international viewpoints, allowing you to discover Tito's innovative approach to socialism in Yugoslavia, which was quite distinct, alongside Deng Xiaoping's reform strategies in China, showing the diverse manifestations and adaptations of these ideologies.
How does he make it engaging? It sounds potentially very academic.
Apparently, it uses captivating stories, critical analyses, and interactive quizzes to challenge perceptions. It's framed as an invitation to critical reflection, especially important perhaps in times of intense ideological convulsions like our own. He wants you to be truly informed about these ideas, not just vaguely aware or relying on stereotypes.
Okay, so from ideology to actual conflict. Armstrong also examines specific global conflicts and their legacies, showing how theory can translate into, well, a grim reality. His book, World War II, From Pearl Harbor to Rio de Janeiro, explores the global conflict's far-reaching impacts. What moments does he highlight?
According to the description, you can relive key moments, like the daring evacuation at Dunkirk, that incredible story of civilian boats rescuing Allied soldiers. You can understand how the brutal siege of Stalingrad turned the tide against tyranny through just unimaginable sacrifice on the Eastern Front. And you'll also feel the shockwaves from Pearl Harbor that, of course, plunged America directly into the war.
And the Rio de Janeiro part of the title, Brazil's role.
Exactly. That's what's particularly unexpected and maybe crucial here, discovering Brazil's crucial role in this global conflict. Many people might not know about Brazil's active participation. They sent troops to fight on the Italian front. Their navy played a role in the Atlantic. Their strategic position was important.
Huh. I actually didn't know the extent of that.
Right. The book apparently showcases human resilience, strategic brilliance, and the unexpected alliances forged amidst chaos. It's positioned as an enlightening journey through our shared past, highlighting global interconnectedness even back then.
Okay. And moving from a vast, sweeping conflict like World War II to a more contemporary, focused one, Armstrong then gives us the Second Battle of Ramadi. This is described as an authoritative exploration that goes beyond just military tactics, really getting into the complex aftermath.
Yes, the description emphasizes that. It provides an in-depth analysis of one of the most crucial confrontations during the Iraq War, shedding light on its far-reaching consequences for local governance and security dynamics. It really aims to show how a battle isn't just about the fighting itself, but about what it leaves behind, the ripple effects.
So what kind of details does it offer? Context, tactics.
All of the above, it seems. You'll apparently find detailed accounts, including the historical backdrop that set the stage for conflict, giving you the necessary context to understand the complexity of the situation in Anbar province at the time. He offers detailed accounts of key military operations and innovative tactics, allowing you to grasp the strategic decisions made on the ground, often under extreme pressure. And it provides what's called an insightful look at the Anbar awakening and its transformative impact on local tribes. This was a really crucial development, where Sunni tribes turned against al-Qaeda in Iraq, significantly shifting the course of the war in that region.
Right, the awakening was key. Does it cover the human element, too?
Yes, it also apparently celebrates heroic acts performed by U.S. soldiers amid chaos. It's presented as indispensable for understanding modern warfare complexities and the lasting legacy left by armed conflicts, particularly in terms of post-conflict security and stability. It's a profound look, it seems, at that messy intersection of military action and sociopolitical outcomes.
Okay. Now, if we circle back to economic systems, Armstrong doesn't just critique alternatives like socialism and communism. He also offers a deep dive into the system that underpins much of the modern world, capitalism.
Mhm.
His book, Understanding Capitalism, is presented as an ultimate guide. What's the approach?
It's framed as revealing the essential principles shaping our economic world, equipping readers with insights to navigate modern economies with more confidence. He apparently unravels the intricate interplay between market dynamics and human behavior, explaining how our individual choices, aggregated together, actually shape the economy. How supply and demand work in practice. You'll make core discoveries, like how choices impact not just your life, but society as a whole. You'll gain profound insights on profit and loss and their wider societal implications, moving beyond simplistic definitions to show how they drive innovation, resource allocation, risk-taking.
And fundamentals like division of labor.
Yes, he clearly explains how division of labor accelerates efficiency and productivity, which is such a fundamental concept, going all the way back to Adam Smith, crucial for economic growth. The book also addresses global and technological aspects, exploring strategies to optimize production through economies of scale, understanding global trade's pivotal role in fostering economic growth, and discovering how technology revolutionizes resource management.
Does it touch on the ethical side at all?
It seems to conclude with that, prompting a societal reflection on balancing prosperity, morality, and freedom for a just society. The book aims to transform your perspective with a holistic view, empowering informed decisions not just in your personal finances, but in understanding broader societal contexts. It's presented as a truly comprehensive look that encourages critical thinking about how our economic world operates, rather than just passive acceptance.
Okay, this is where, for me anyway, it gets really interesting and perhaps most unexpected, especially coming from an author who has just dissected global conflicts, political ideologies, economic systems. Beyond these grand historical narratives, these macro-level theories, Shawn Armstrong also delves into intensely personal, intensely practical forms of empowerment. And then, quite remarkably, ventures into the truly unknown, the perhaps unexplainable.
It is quite a shift in focus, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
Let's start with personal protection. His book, Self-Defense for Everyday People. It's described as a comprehensive guide, empowering individuals with essential skills to stay aware and prepared in any situation. And its motto is pretty compelling, one that resonates deeply, I think. Be the sheepdog, not the sheep.
Powerful imagery.
It is. And it suggests it's not just about physical confrontation, right? It sounds like it's about a mindset, an approach to life.
That's absolutely right, based on the description. The book covers key skills like mastering situational awareness to spot potential threats, which is so often the first, and maybe the most crucial, line of defense, just noticing something isn't right. You'll apparently discover key physical techniques that leverage strength and agility, not necessarily just raw power, but using biomechanics effectively to give you an edge. He also explores various self-defense tools and their legal considerations, which is, of course, vital for responsible self-protection. You need to know what's legal and appropriate.
So it's practical and legal. What about avoiding conflict?
Yes, it goes beyond just physical readiness. He also teaches how to utilize de-escalation techniques to resolve conflicts peacefully, emphasizing that avoiding a fight, if possible, is always the best outcome. That's a key part of being the sheepdog, perhaps protecting without unnecessary violence. And crucially, it guides you in developing a personalized safety plan tailored to your unique circumstances. Because safety isn't a one-size-fits-all solution, right? Your risks, your environment, your abilities are unique.
Right. It needs to fit your life.
Exactly. It's about empowering you with the knowledge to protect what matters most, understanding that safety is a strategic, adaptable approach. It's a truly practical application of his core philosophy, empowering through knowledge.
Okay. And taking that concept of protection to, well, the highest level maybe, Armstrong also offers from planning to execution. The multifaceted role of an executive protection specialist. This is presented as the ultimate resource for mastering executive protection strategies. What does it unveil about this very specialized, often secretive field?
It really seems to unpack the expertise needed to keep high-profile clients safe. You'll apparently learn about the intense physical capabilities required, yes, but also the unwavering mental resilience, the constant vigilance,
Hmm.
and the critical networking talents that successful executive protection, or EP, specialists must possess. It's far more than just being a bodyguard.
How so? What else is involved?
It's about being a strategist, a meticulous planner, an advanced scout, a logistics expert, a communicator, a problem solver, often all at once. You have to anticipate threats, not just react to them. And crucially, the book explores how to navigate the complex ethical dilemmas faced in this field. Think about the gray areas, the split-second decisions involving potential harm, the immense responsibility of protecting someone else's life, often balancing security with the client's desire for normalcy.
That must be incredibly stressful.
Immensely so. The book emphasizes staying ahead of future trends, technological threats, changing tactics of adversaries, and ensuring operational effectiveness. It underlines that in a world where threats constantly evolve, the approach to personal safety for these high-stakes individuals must also continually adapt and refine. It's a fascinating glimpse into a really demanding profession.
Okay. From personal security at that high level down to a very specific, precise application of force, maybe. We also have the magic of long-range shooting. Zen or science? That title is intriguing. It's a guide designed for aspiring marksmen and seasoned shooters, but it suggests a deeper philosophical approach. What does he mean by Zen or science?
It's a wonderful framing, isn't it? It suggests he explores both sides of the coin, the technical precision required and also the intense mental discipline. It's all about mastering precision techniques, teaching key techniques from zeroing scopes to mastering breath control and trigger squeeze, the fundamentals. But it's apparently more than just mechanics. He delves into advanced strategies like harnessing the natural point of aim for unparalleled stability.
Natural point of aim. What's that exactly?
Well, as he apparently explains it, it's about finding the position where your body is most naturally aligned with the target, without muscle strain. It minimizes wobble and helps you maintain that stability, which is absolutely crucial for those challenging long-range shots where even tiny movements are magnified enormously by distance.
Ah, okay. Makes sense. Less fighting your own body.
Exactly. You'll also learn about developing essential skills critical for precision shooting and navigating environmental hurdles with advanced strategies. Things like reading wind, calculating bullet drop due to gravity, temperature effects, including using ballistic computers effectively to crunch all those numbers.
So where does the Zen part come in?
The Zen seems to come from the mental focus, the intense concentration, the patience, the almost meditative state required for achieving that extreme precision, controlling your breathing, your heart rate, managing anxiety, while the science is in the rigorous understanding of physics, ballistics, optics, and environmental factors. It aims to transform your shooting game, whether you're a beginner or an expert, by integrating both mind and technique.
Fascinating blend. And in another fascinating blend, this time of practical skills and contemporary application, Armstrong also offers Teaching Karate Online, a guide to transforming martial arts instruction into an effective online experience. That's particularly relevant now, isn't it?
Extremely relevant. We saw a huge shift to online learning in so many fields.
So what does he cover for someone looking to build essentially a virtual dojo?
He really seems to think through the entire process, soup to nuts. It starts by helping you understand the history and fundamental principles of Kempo karate specifically, emphasizing that core values like discipline and respect are crucial for a successful practice, even when learning remotely, maybe even more so. Then it moves into the practicalities, creating a perfect virtual dojo setup, outlining the necessary tools, technologies, camera angles, lighting, all the things you need for engaging online teaching. He guides you in developing a curriculum suitable for all skill levels, from white belt to black belt, presumably.
How do you keep students motivated online? That can be tough.
He addresses that directly. Maintaining student motivation with interactive strategies, maybe using gamification, building a sense of community online even though you're not physically together, recognizing that virtual learning can often feel isolating without those elements. And finally, it delves into the essential business aspects, teaching you how to market your online classes effectively using social media, digital marketing, and also how to overcome specific online teaching challenges related to discipline, safety protocols, because maintaining proper form, preventing injury, is still paramount, even without a physical instructor right there to correct you instantly.
Right, safety is key.
Absolutely. It truly offers, it seems, a comprehensive roadmap for mastering Kenpo karate instruction in the digital age, showing how traditional disciplines can adapt and even thrive in new environments.
Okay, and now, this is where the beyond truly comes into play. venturing into philosophical territory and even paranormal. First, my essays on C.S. Lewis, From Doubt to Faith, an authoritative collection illuminating the spiritual odyssey of C.S. Lewis. Given Armstrong's diverse background, why is this an important part of his body of work, do you think? How does it fit?
Well, it's certainly a testament to his intellectual curiosity, isn't it? It shows that, for him, empowerment through knowledge isn't limited to the physical or the political realms. Armstrong's essays on C.S. Lewis apparently meticulously dissect key themes from Lewis's works, unveiling Lewis's own profound philosophical evolution, his journey from atheism to belief, and Armstrong connects this journey to contemporary struggles in faith and morality.
How does he make that connection?
He seems to reveal that Lewis's intellectual and spiritual journey, which was marked by wrestling with profound doubt, offers a powerful testament, perhaps, to finding moral clarity, not necessarily in simple dogma, but through rigorous philosophical inquiry into big questions like suffering, the nature of good and evil, the existence of God, ultimately bridging the gap for Lewis between reason and belief. This collection apparently provides comprehensive coverage, exploring diverse topics like belief itself, the problem of suffering, the basis for moral values, enriching your understanding of life's most profound questions.
Does it offer practical takeaways?
It seems so. The description mentions applying Lewis's timeless insights to modern dilemmas as one seeks moral certainty. It invites reflection on one's own beliefs and ethical frameworks, making it an essential read, perhaps, for anyone intrigued by that intersection of faith and reason, and how intellectual honesty can, paradoxically maybe, lead to profound personal conviction.
Okay. And then, perhaps the most surprising entry of all. From an author who has delved into military tactics, political theory, economics, C.S. Lewis, we get Whispers from Beyond. Described as the ultimate guide to ghost hunting and demonology, blending personal stories with scholarly research. I have to admit, when I first saw this title on the list, I did a double take.
Chuckles lately. I think many people would. It certainly stands out.
What exactly does he cover here? And seriously, how does this fit with his overall philosophy we've been tracing?
Well, it certainly raises an eyebrow, doesn't it? But you consider his core commitment to truth and clarity, and maybe his background in understanding complex human behavior, even when faced with the unexplainable. It starts to make a certain kind of sense, perhaps. Or at least you can see his potential rationale. This book apparently delves into the historical and theoretical foundations, helping you discover how ghost hunting practices have shifted across different cultures and eras, exploring diverse spirit types, ghosts, poltergeists, residual hauntings, maybe demons, and gaining insight into the psychology behind paranormal experiences. That last part is particularly interesting, isn't it, given his background in criminal justice and perhaps analyzing testimony or behavior.
Psychology of paranormal experiences. Okay, that's an angle. Does it get practical, like how-to stuff?
Oh, yes. Very practical, it seems. It equips you for investigations, arming you with essential methods for research and safety protocols. Because, exploring creepy old buildings can have real physical dangers, regardless of ghosts. And it helps you master techniques for detecting paranormal activity, including evidence collection like EVP.
EVPs. Remind me.
Electronic voice phenomena, where investigators use recording devices hoping to capture faint, unexplainable voices or sounds that weren't audible at the time. It's a staple of modern ghost hunting.
Right. Okay. What about actually interacting?
Crucially, it apparently covers engagement and ethics, teaching safe communication methods with spirits, and how to effectively manage potentially hostile entities if one believes in such things, alongside emphasizing the importance of ethics in supernatural investigations, respecting property, privacy, potentially even the spirits themselves. It includes intriguing real-life case studies, apparently, and deep reflections on the future of demonology and paranormal investigation, noting how technology evolves our comprehension, or at least our methods of investigating, the supernatural.
Right.
It really highlights that unique blend we keep seeing. Academic rigor, or at least scholarly research, combined with practical, maybe deeply unexpected application. He seems to be approaching the paranormal with the same kind of methodical, investigative lens he might apply to political science or self-defense analysis. It's certainly different.
It absolutely is. Wow, okay.
So this brings up another important question, doesn't it? An author with such a global perspective, such incredibly diverse interests. Surely he must offer cross-cultural insights beyond the typical American or Western viewpoint we've mostly discussed so far. And indeed, Shawn Armstrong's work includes unique contributions specifically focused on Brazil, showcasing yet another layer of his breadth and his deep engagement with real-world issues in different contexts.
Brazil. Okay, how does he approach Brazil's political landscape?
He offers a book titled A Historia Política do Brasil and Suas Mãos, The Political History of Brazil in Your Hands. It's described as an authoritative exploration from colonialism to modern-day democracy. And importantly, it's not just a chronology. He critically examines how Brazil's past informs its very complex present. He covers critical themes, starting with indigenous political structures, exploring the foundations before European contact, then moving through the rise of the Brazilian Republic, the challenging period of the military dictatorship 1964-1985, and the subsequent, often difficult, post-dictatorship democratization 1985 present.
Does he tackle recent issues? Corruption, polarization.
Absolutely. You'll apparently gain insights into ongoing issues like corruption scandals, particularly Operation Car Wash, Lava Jato, and see how they affect today's political climate. Operation Car Wash was and is a massive, sprawling investigation that has implicated huge numbers of politicians and business leaders. And he doesn't shy away from modern challenges either, analyzing a polarização política nas redes sociais, which translates to political polarization in social media, showing how digital platforms are impacting democracy in Brazil, just as they are elsewhere. The book aims to help you, the listener, understand the deep roots of Brazilian governance and its current complexities, offering a nuanced perspective for anyone interested in global political dynamics beyond the usual focus on the US or Europe.
That sounds incredibly valuable.
And finally,
Acknowledging the practical needs of people navigating new cultures, there's Guia Definitivo para Brasileiros nos EUA, the definitive guide for Brazilians in the USA. This is described as a passport for a smoother and more successful transition. Sounds incredibly practical.
it truly does. It seems designed to eliminate some of the biggest anxieties that come with international relocation. It offers extensive practical knowledge, starting with Leis de Imigração Descomplicadas, which means simplified immigration laws, helping people understand the different visa types, how to apply correctly, avoiding common pitfalls. Then it delves into diferenças jurídicas, or legal differences between the Brazilian and U.S. systems, which is crucial for avoiding unexpected surprises, whether it's renting an apartment, signing a contract, or understanding basic rights and responsibilities.
And the cultural side, day-to-day life.
Yes, it provides insights into costume socias, social customs, things like greetings, personal space norms, which can differ significantly, workplace etiquette, gift-giving, all those small but essential things for daily American life and building social connections.
What else is it cover for immersion?
It explores cultura y tradições, culture and traditions, including significant holidays, maybe how they're celebrated, and tips on how to get involved with the local community, joining clubs, volunteering, finding cultural groups, which is so vital for feeling at home in a new place. It provides essential tips covering everything from cost of living to health. Navigating the U.S. healthcare system is a huge challenge for many immigrants, so that's critical. The guide not only informs but also aims to empower Brazilians to build valuable connections in the USA, emphasizing mentorship and community resources, really preparing them for a new adventure.
It shows that commitment to practical, direct empowerment again, doesn't it? Just in a completely different context.
Exactly. Same underlying philosophy, different application.
So, let's try and pull this all together. What does this all mean? When we bring together insights on the profound complexities of American history and governance, the often brutal realities of global ideologies and conflicts, intensely personal forms of self-safety and practical empowerment, and then even the psychology of the supernatural, all from a single author. What's the overarching message here? What's the synthesis?
You know, the fascinating connection here, the consistent thread we've seen woven through every single one of Shawn Armstrong's works, diverse as they are, seems to be his deeply held belief that knowledge is most valuable when understood and applied. That's the core. Across all these incredibly diverse fields, from the macro of global politics to the micro of personal safety, even the paranormal, he seems dedicated to empowering individuals, empowering them to be informed, to be prepared, and to be critically engaged with the world around them. He truly believes, it seems, in fostering both intellectual and practical agency.
How does he use history to do that?
Well, he repeatedly shows how understanding the roots, whether it's the foundations of a society like the U.S., the origins of a specific conflict like Ramadi, or the historical evolution of economic systems like capitalism or socialism, is absolutely essential for navigating contemporary challenges effectively. For him, history isn't just a collection of dates and names filed away in the past. It's a living, breathing force that continually shapes our present and influences our future. And without understanding it, he seems to argue, we're just navigating blind.
And the emphasis on the individual.
That's huge. From mastering self-defense techniques, which is inherently individual, to understanding the intricate workings of political structures so you can participate more effectively as a citizen. His work consistently emphasizes the individual's role in your own safety, your own well-being, and your civic participation. He seems to want to shift the mindset from being a passive recipient of information or events to becoming an active agent in a complex world, taking responsibility.
And what about truth? That seems to be a driver, too.
Absolutely. There's a clear, consistent pursuit of truth and clarity running throughout his works. Whether he's exposing what he perceives as the unsettling truths behind certain political ideologies or seeking the true essence of ghosts through investigation. There's this underlying drive to peel back layers, to question assumptions, to gain clarity in a world that is often characterized by information overload, misinformation, and constantly evolving threats.
And that unique blend, the practical and the philosophical.
Yes, perhaps that's the most unique thing. His blend of military, criminal justice, self-defense experience, with deep philosophical inquiry, his admiration for C.S. Lewis. It truly showcases a holistic view of knowledge and life. It suggests that practical skills, whether it's shooting accurately or defending yourself, are profoundly enhanced by deep theoretical understanding, by understanding the why, not just the how. And conversely, that deep understanding, philosophical or political, should ideally lead to practical, virtuous living. It should inform how you act in the world.
So it's an integrated approach.
Exactly. An integrated approach to knowledge that seems to deliberately transcend conventional academic or professional boundaries, challenging you, the listener, to be a more well-rounded, critically thinking, and empowered individual in, well, every facet of your life.
For you, the learner, listening today, this deep dive really demonstrates that true understanding, maybe, comes not just from accumulating facts in one narrow area, but from connecting disparate pieces of knowledge, from seeing the patterns. Shawn Armstrong's work offers a compelling and truly unique example of how a singular focus on empowerment through knowledge can manifest across an incredible array of topics, providing those aha moments, hopefully, that genuinely make you feel well-informed and more capable of navigating the world's complexities. Wow, we've just taken a whirlwind deep dive, haven't we, into the truly expansive world of Shawn Armstrong, exploring everything from the intricate dance of capitalism and the foundational ideals of nations, to the stark practicalities of self-defense, and even the mysteries of the paranormal. It's really a testament to the power of a curious mind, isn't it? And the drive to share knowledge in a way that truly aims to empower others.
It definitely is. And it reminds us, I think, that every piece of information, every field of study, no matter how niche or seemingly unrelated it might appear at first glance, can potentially offer a crucial insight. An insight into the human experience, into the intricate, complex, sometimes baffling world we all inhabit.
That leads to a final thought, perhaps.
Well, it raises an important question, I think, for you, our listener, to maybe consider on your own. How might adopting a similarly multidisciplinary approach to your own learning, actively seeking connections across fields that seem unrelated, much like Shawn Armstrong does, how might that unlock new insights for you? How might it empower your understanding of the world in unexpected, maybe even profound ways?
That's a great question to ponder. What an incredible journey into a truly multifaceted mind. We definitely encourage you to explore the specific areas or books that piqued your interest today. There's certainly a lot there. Until next time, keep diving deep.